Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be showcasing a few cars that were either popular in GTA before or have just been forgotten in general. The whole aim of today's video is just to show you guys the reason I think they have been forgotten and just the whole generalization of the car actually being forgotten. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video. Now the ZType is one of those cars that was instantly forgotten after the first ever DLC. This car was the second most expensive, but it was the most expensive to sell with modifications. And I remember people used to use this as the money glitch. So when you dupe cars, people would normally dupe them ZType because you could modify it a lot and it would sell for the most money, and people used to dupe this a lot. It wasn't a car that was particularly nice to drive or anything, it was just nice to own because it was the second most expensive car in the game after the adder, and it was a car that didn't have any value, so people just liked to own something that was of high value but wasn't worth anything, just to show your hierarchy in GTA. So it has a lot of modifications, but in my opinion they're horrible modifications. Like the grille options are not so great, and also the headlight covers are horrible. I just remember when people used to put this on, it used to be horrendous. When you drive this car you could really feel the weight of the car. You can feel your car oversteering a lot, and it's not the best of cars if you're trying to win a race. It's not slow, but it's just really bad round corners. It does have a lot of mass, and I remember when people used to drive these in races, they used to push you out the way with it, and there was nothing you could do because this car had so much weight to it. And that's all I've got to say really for the ZType. It's a forgotten car, but it might be forgotten for a reason. Now the Blister Compact was a car that was really anticipated in the JDM car community, and it was loved when it was released, but on the release you soon to realize that there's not that many. There are a few modifications, but there's not that many for all the JDM fans out there. Now I must say the car in my opinion does sound really nice. Now if anyone actually remembers, this car was actually in GTA 4, GTA San Andreas, and I think Vice City as well. It is amazing how they've actually put this car in most Grand Theft Autos. They've kept it for so long. Even though GTA don't have a feedback on the car from the car community, they didn't have a huge feedback from the car community saying, oh yeah, we love the Blister Compact, please bring it back. They just brought it back, and that's something I really like about this car. It's just the OG presence of the car. Now there are a lot of negatives with the car. The car is really slow. The handling is really bad. It's one car in the game that actually does have bad handling and top speed at the same time. And it's not even a pedestrian car, you have to actually buy this off the website. Now, this is a forgotten car, but in my opinion, I don't think it should be. So the Alfa is a car that I didn't really know if I should put on the list, because it's a car that I think even when it got released, it was never used. The car is more of a business kind of type car. It's more a luxurious coupe, and I think there was no striking factor of this car that made people want to buy it. There was not that many modifications. The car is quite fast, but the handling is not so great. The car in looks department, it just looks like a luxury coupe, a common luxury coupe. I don't know what it's based off. There's not that many modifications besides a hood and a few stuff like common stuff like spoilers and front bumpers and stuff. Nothing that makes this car look really outstanding. I think that there is a reason why this car's forgotten. It's kind of boring, but I do also think it is kind of unique at the same time. So the Hijack Chameleon, a car that only costs 100,000. For what it is, if this car was to come out now with the new DLC, it would probably cost $1 million or something. It's a car that doesn't have many modifications, But I really don't understand why people didn't use this that much. It was only 100,000. It was the only electric car, I think, back then that was released with a DLC. And it was relatively fast as well, with great handling. I actually drove this at a really high pace, and I think it did rather well for what it is. It's really fast, it doesn't look that bad. I found it quite cool how it had like the solar panel roof as well with it. I don't think any other car has that. The reason I think it's forgotten is because it's an electric car. In this game, I don't think a lot of people, even with the new Neon and the new Raiden, them cars are really fast. They're like the fastest accelerating cars in GTA, but still not a lot of people use them because of the sound, or you can't hear your electric motor while you're driving or anything. There's no satisfaction to it. But them cars do have terrible handling, but this Chameleon actually has great handling. The reason I think it's forgotten is because it's just not appealing to everyone. So here's another car, the Mascaro, that's been out in GTA for a while. And I do think it's a really underrated car. People still use sports cars like the Comet and the Banshee, but no one really uses the Mascaro, and the Mascaro is equivalent in speed and has a lot more modifications, and in my opinion it actually looks really nice. The modifications you can actually put on it makes the car look a lot better than most cars in this game. The back is identical to the Rapid GT, but that's not really a negative. It still looks really nice. You can lower this very well, and it drives really well. Like, it takes corners well, it's really fast, and I think it's not being used much now. Well, I don't think it ever was. I don't think people actually gave this car a chance. 275,000. When this was released, it was quite a lot of money, but it ain't so much now. So if you guys are looking to buy one, I definitely recommend you get the Mascaro. Now the Feltzer, I don't really know how forgotten this car is. It's a car that you see all the time, driven by pedestrians going down the roads, but you never see someone actually owning this vehicle, and there probably is a lot of people that don't know this exists by name. So if you just told them like, oh, have you got the Feltzer, they'll probably say, what is that? The Feltzer is a car that was out in GTA 4, but it wasn't a wide body variant, and I think the front of the car looks really great. The back of the car looks like a time attack car or something. I'm not really sure about the back, but this car, it sounds really great when you drive it. It's only 145,000. It turns corners great, but it also has those limits of being a sports car that came out in GTA. It's quite slow. It's great handling, but it's pretty slow, to be honest. But there's not much you can expect for 145,000. And again, this is one of those cars as well. I think if it was released now, it would probably cost 700,000 or so. And these cars that are underrated or forgotten are great cars to purchase, because when your friend sees you drive it, he'll be like, what is that car? And they would have never saw it before. They probably think it's a new car. So the Feltzer, another great car. It just depends. This one depends on how you like your cars looking. I know this might not appeal to some because the car looks slightly odd, but in my opinion, a great car, and it'll be great to take some front pictures with the car. So finally, we've got the Verliera. This car's never been used much in GTA, even when it came out. I think this came out alongside a lot of other vehicles in the game, and it was the least popular. Nowadays, I don't see anyone driving it, but surprisingly, it does have a lot of modifications on the car. You can customize this car a lot. I think when I go deep into the modifications, it just gets a bit too much for me. You can make this car look super aggressive, but you can also over modify this car as well. The car sounds amazing. I think a really good sounding car, and it's a really good looking car as well. It's almost like it's a cross between a modern and a classic car, and there's no other car in the game that looks anything like this car. If you compare it to any other car in the game, I don't know what comes close to this car. I think it's been forgotten because it might not be everyone's taste in car. It is a bit confusing. Is it a classic or is it a modern car? The shape is very different. Not many cars in GTA, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any car in the game has this shape to it. The car sounds super nice. The car handles really well, And yeah, I just think it's forgotten because not many people bought it in the first place. So thank you for getting to the end of the video, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you do want to follow me on Instagram, I've got a link in the description. I would really appreciate if you liked the video. See you guys in the next video.